MPAC segment tonight, as you may know, the Vatican was harshly criticized for failing to speak out against Adolf Hitler in the 30s, and the Holy See, under the late Pope John Paul, was rather silent about terrorism, very general about it. But the new Pope, Benedict XVI, has taken a different approach. Speaking in Germany, the Pope criticized Islamists who believe it is righteous to spread their religion in a violent way. Well, many Muslims have objected to that and have demanded an apology. Joining us now from Los Angeles is Edina Lekovic, the Communications Director for the Muslim Public Affairs Council. The Pope, as you know, Ms. Lekovic, was quoting a discussion in the 14th century between a Christian emperor and a Muslim cleric, and said, quote, "Show me just what Mohammed," this is the emperor, the Christian, "show me just what Mohammed brought that was new, and there you will find things only evil and inhuman, such as his command to spread by the sword the faith he preached," unquote. It wasn't a Pope's words, it was the emperor's words. And you object to that?
We do object to it on the grounds that I think it's an unfortunate selection for the Pope to quote, given that the modern history of the Vatican, under the legacy, the pioneering legacy of Pope John Paul II, was one in which Islam was accepted and embraced as an Abrahamic faith. And the record that Pope John Paul set forth was one that was promoting a dialogue of civilizations and was intent on mutual understanding. And I think that's what makes this a troubling development for many Muslims. It represents a departure from that. And secondly, in quoting this particular selection, it belies a fundamental misunderstanding of the early days of Islam, and the very notion that Islam was spread by the sword is a canard that is frequently repeated and is false.
And I think all of that is interesting discussion between theologians, but not for our purposes here, because we are brutally honest and straight to the point, as you know. There are Muslims in the world using the religion to murder people, babies, women, and children. You know that, I know that, everyone knows it. All right, so we start there.
Fact,
it is the obligation of not only the Pope, but every imam in the world, every Muslim citizen in the world, to condemn that behavior. We have not seen that. We have seen some.
That's false.
We have seen some. We have not seen a dramatic outcry in the Muslim world against using Allah's teachings to murder people. We haven't seen it.
Right, but imagine what a different situation we would have if the Pope, and this is what I hope will happen next, the Pope has an opportunity now. He's just named a new foreign minister. He's just named a new Secretary of State. There's an opportunity for these high-level officials within the Vatican to operate in a way that can produce good out of this situation. What would happen
I hope it happens.
If he convened a high-level meeting of Muslim clerics who were moderate forces and who were pushing for change, and provided them with a platform in which to engage
I think that would be terrific.
Discussion.
And I hope he does it.
And it should happen.
And I hope he does. But I want to see, and I think everyone watching all over the world this evening, I would love to see Muslim nations like Iran, like Saudi Arabia, like Yemen, like Indonesia, come out with public statements condemning the murder of the jihadists. I have not seen it. It does not exist.
I would love to see it.
And until it does,
Bill, I would love to see it too. But
let me tell you one thing.
We can't wait for that to happen first. We have to create alternative means.
But until it happens, the world will not respect these nations who call themselves Islamic nations, because they are by tacitly ignoring it, they're approving of it. We have a different level of responsibility. Well, by tacitly not condemning it, they are encouraging it. You know that.
Look, on the international scene, there have been frequent, incessant condemnations of terrorism.
Tell me one Islamic government leader beside Musharraf who they want to kill.
Musharraf has, Mubarak has. The former president of Iran condemned terrorism before. These things have happened. I know that they're inadequate. I completely agree with you. But we cannot put moderate Muslims on the sidelines and be waiting for Muslim governments
Is it because they're afraid to get killed? Is it because they're afraid to get killed that the moderate Muslims don't speak louder? Is that the reason?
No, it's because they're not receiving the international platforms of the heads of Muslim countries. It's the responsibility of Western nations to be able to respect the voices of moderate Muslims and to understand that they are part of the solution. So you don't think in Pakistan or in Saudi Arabia... No, we are not afraid to speak out. We are not afraid to speak out. We're doing it on a daily basis. We know that that is our responsibility, not to America only, but to our faith and to our understanding of how we can create a better future.
Mrs. Lekovic, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming on this program this evening. And we're coming right back with the factor. Of an attorney defending John Benet Ramsey hoaxer John Mark Carr, currently charged in a child porn beef. Wait till you hear what this guy has to say. Moments away.